Hello, our lecture for today in the research method course is the collecting primary data using questionnaire. A questionnaire is considered as the most important and the most maybe used techniques to collect information, especially the quantitative information. So from this lecture, we expect to understand the advantage and the disadvantage of using the questionnaire and the types of questionnaire from the self-administrated or the interviewer-administrated questionnaire, and how may we combine different or multi-techniques in collecting information, and how to adjust our questionnaire, to build our questionnaire in order to answer and meet the research questions and objectives. Just to remind you about the research onion, which will stay with us till the end of the course, we are in the data collection and data analysis, and we use the survey. The questionnaire is used for the survey as one of the most important techniques and procedure. So what's the questionnaire? To know the definition, it's the techniques of data collection in which each person is asked to respond to the same set of questions in a predetermined order. So the same participants will answer the same questionnaire at the same order, at the same type of questions. When to use the questionnaire? For explanatory or descriptive research, for quantitative analysis to collect quantitative data, to link with other methods in multiple methods, maybe before the qualitative or after the qualitative, to have more in-depth knowledge about such topic, to collect information from a large sample, a great number of participants, in order to be able to analyze quantitatively. So to look for the types of the questionnaires to be self-completed by the participants themselves, or it will be completed by the interviewer, like the interview. If it's self-completed by the participant, maybe through the internet, through the web page or the mobile phone, or you send by post office, or delivery personally and collect the questionnaire from the participants, or to be interviewer completed by telephone, to make phone call and start reading the question and write the answer that you received from the participants, or maybe you have face-to-face with the participant and to write the response from the participants. So the type of the questionnaire, as we mentioned in the previous here table figure, so the self-administrated or self-completed questionnaire, usually completed by the respondents, the participants themselves, or through the internet or intranet inside the organization, or by the post office, or just to give it by hand physically and to collect the questionnaire later on. Or the interviewer completed the questionnaire to be recorded by the researcher to receive the answer from the participants, or structured interview that you read the questions one by one and you write the answer of the questionnaire. The choice of a questionnaire, some factors that to be considered, characteristics of the participants, and to what extent that you may have the access to the organization, answers not being contaminated or distorted, as sometimes the participant, he will not be able or not understanding some part of the questions, not a clear question on the questionnaire. Maybe he asks colleagues, maybe make some discussion, maybe somebody from family members will affect his answer. So to be sure that he understand the questions and answer the question by himself. Size of sample required for analysis. for the pilot study, at least 30 samples, or some programs will require more than 200 or 300 to have representative sample from the populations. Type and number of questions required, 3-4 pages to have 30, 40 questions. The number of questions that will cover your research questions and to be able to measure your variables. Time and number of questions required, available resources, including use of computer software in order to analyze your data, like Excel or statistical package for social science or other suitable program. Moreover, in the data collection, key factors precisely defined the questions. Your question need to be clear. One, to state your question in very clear way, accurate sampling, understanding of the organizational context. Something, it will not harm the organization, it will not have some negative effects you're finding on the organization, especially as a researcher, if it's not done for the researcher from the inside the organization. Relationship between variables, dependent and independent variables, to look for the causal relationship, the cause and the effects between variables. For example, you look for performance expectancy, you look for effort, for social influence that affect the behavioral intention, the use of a new technology, and such technology acceptance model or something like this. It's good to have a table to check that you arranged what you wanted to do, the type of research, the research objective, and type of research that to fit the research question and objectives, and the investigative questions, the variables that need to be measured, and some detail to check your work. So, stages that occur if a question is to be valid and reliable, that researcher is clear about the data required and design a question in his questionnaire. So the respondent, the participants, decodes the question in the way the researcher intend. So let the participant understand a clear question in the way that you need him, what to understand from you, what to have the answer in a clear way. Respondent answer the question, and when he answer the question, he should answer the question as you expect the answer from him, the same as you expect him to understand the question in the way that you ask the question. Researcher decodes the answer in the way the respondent intended. Something to consider, internal validity for your questionnaire that fit and meet your research question and objectives. It will have enough scale items to measure your variables. The content validity that is related to your variables, related to what you intend to measure. The related predictive from the type of your questions you expect the answer or your finding in order to meet your research questions and objectives, and to construct validity, to construct your questionnaire in a proper way, to be easy and understandable for the participant to be able to answer your questionnaire. Testing of reliability, 3-stage, test and retest. Work more and more in your questionnaire. You will have a draft. You let some expert to read your questionnaire and to have some comments to correct for you, to check if it's the face validity, how it looks, your questionnaire, and the content validity that have enough theory that support your construct and your variables. So let's start to see some forms of the question. If it's open question, to ask somebody to write down 3 things about his opinion. So may you have at the end more than 50 or 60 answers, and you need to make coding for this answer, or just to choose which one that's suitable for you, or to ask how many times or how often do you visit the shopping center. The interviewer listen, so you will write the answer. You ask the customer, you want to give him a paper and a pen and ask to fill this form. No, just like you see in some shopping center, they will ask some customers about their opinion about some issues. And sometimes you need to rank this answer, which is the most important, which will give priority number one, and then which will be followed, which is the most important when you decide to buy the car. The carbon dioxide emissions, do you much care about the environment? You make it first priority, or the depreciation, or the price, the size, whatever. If something is not important for you, so you omit. You don't need to rank also. Rating a question to start from degree to disagree, 4 points. Or maybe you start with Likert, 7 points to start from completely disagree, moderately disagree, slightly disagree, neither agree nor disagree, slightly agree, moderately agree, and completely agree, to have 7 options. It will give you more space, more accurate, maybe finding for your questionnaire. Some type of a question, just to need to fill the information, you left blank, and to be filled with the year of the birth date. So other consideration, adopting or adapting existing a questionnaire. You have something ready and tested by other researcher, so the copyright is very important. Not just to cite, maybe some ethical committee to give you the approval to conduct your questionnaire according to the regulation in your institute, your university. You need to have the written approval, not just from the author, even from the publisher of the work. A question wording, not to be confused, not canalizing for the participant, translating a question into another language. May you translate, even that affected to some extent which type of translation you will have to translate your questionnaire that to fit the participants and the nature of the participant. Maybe not everybody is familiar with English language, so you need to have a version of your questionnaire in your own language, and to be a credible and accredited translation that met your research. Question wording, translating, and quoting the question you need when you will primary enter your data finding in such a program like Excel, to have the columns for the participants, and you give them number from 1, 2, 3, and etc. And the row to start with the coding, BE1, BE2, and etc. to have the answer. Then will you have the matrix that have all your information. The most important, complete checklist to check to help you wording of your questionnaire that collect data from the right level. You need data from just the employee, from the line managers, from HR professional, from some senior managements, which is you target the people that you need to collect information from them. Order and flow of the question, sometimes to start asking according to your research model, to start from general question or from the independent variable to the dependent variable to the controlling variable to the moderating or mediating, that to have some arrangement that will make it easy for you to analyze your data. A questionnaire layout, and we'll talk about this, that the questionnaire will have information about your institute, about the name, the title of your research, will have some information about you as a researcher, about your supervisor, about the funding body, and the contact information for some question regarding your questionnaire. The covering letter to the participant, may you start for the dear respondent, the present study aims to identify things like this, and we collect information for the research in our organization, in our institute, for the master thesis, for PhD program, for research project, and the information will be handled with a highly confidential way. It will not be released to any third party, something that is essential to be part of your questionnaire. So let's have a look in the Near East University for the Social Science Ethics Committee before starting your questionnaire, to have the information about your questionnaire, to ask them about their approval to participate, agree to participate in this study, and to assure them that the information that you took from this survey or questionnaire will not be released to another third party, and it's just for the academic use. And if there is something controversial in this issue, so he's have the voluntary not to complete answering the questionnaire, and here is the website to go for more details about this ethical issue. And also to have the information about yourself, about your supervisor, to let the participants be able to contact you. And as we mentioned, when you decide to adapt, to use the questionnaire from other research, you need to have the permission from the author, and to have the written permission also from the publisher, and to cite it in a proper way also. So points to consider: administrating the questionnaire, internet and intranet mediated response. It will be more easy to write the information that you acquired from the participant, and the postal questionnaires, delivery and collection from people, telephone questionnaire, and structured interviews. So I think by this we have a good idea about the questionnaires that used to collect a quantitative in the survey for this descriptive or explanatory data, the main types of the questionnaire that used in the research, that the precise data met your research questions and objectives, and to be sure that you will not have the chance to repeat your questionnaire. So from the first time, you need to construct good questionnaire in order to support your research question and objectives. By this, we conclude our lecture. Thank you very much.